I think we can move on to the next trend, which won't be a surprise to anyone. It's grappling with collaboration tools. And their companies were already headed in this direction, I think, before the pandemic. But Robert, I think it's safe to say that they are here at this point.
Yeah, that's right. So when you kind of think of collaboration tools like Teams or Zoom or WebEx, you name it, really what we were seeing was prior to the pandemic, collaboration tools were, this new thing that, hey, we got this new capability out there that companies should consider. And then we had the pandemic, and what we saw was really widespread adoption of these types of tools, collaboration tools. And then year two of the pandemic, from an eDiscovery point of view, kind of the thinking was, well, we'll kind of start to see these types of tools be implicated in matters. And now that has arrived. So now, we've seen kind of this widespread adoption, communications occurring, and now these types of collaboration tools are being implicated in discovery. Now that obviously presents multiple challenges that, Ray, do you want to speak to further?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about two of them, and they sort of go hand in hand. One is about preservation of these tools, and the other is going to be about the sort of underlying data storage mechanisms of the tools, because a lot of times you have to understand the underlying structure or the underlying platforms that these collaboration tools are built on top of in order to even know how to go about preserving them. I would say that one trend is that the eDiscovery backend capabilities of these tools has continued to mature, especially for the enterprise versions of these. I mean, a couple of years ago when they were really new, sometimes they would be really bare bones on the back end. You might get an export, be lucky to get an export out of a tool that had the data in JSON or something that had to be parsed and loaded into a database and queried. Now I think that in general, things have been headed in the right direction, and the eDiscovery backend capabilities are a little more robust than they were a couple of years ago, and I hope they continue to get even better. One thing I'm seeing though is it's real hard to be as fine-grained as you may want to be when implementing a legal hold. So the tool might have the ability to place the user's chats on hold, but what you won't see, or what you might like to have, is you might want to have just the chats for one particular conversation, or the chats for one channel, for example, placed on hold. In general, what we see is that a lot of companies don't want the chats to be around indefinitely. I certainly don't want my chats to be around indefinitely. There's no reason to keep them. They're instant messaging. They don't have continuing value to the company. So it makes sense for them to roll off on a pretty regular basis. And yet, if somebody's chats are determined to be relevant for one legal hold, it could be the case that the tool only allows you to place all the user's chats on hold. And one thing that you might not be thinking about is, yeah, I put the user's chats on hold because I wanted to preserve them for this one matter, but now that user's chats are going to be on hold going forward indefinitely until the hold is lifted. So that's just an example of the kind of thing I'm seeing where you can't quite preserve as narrowly as you might want to. And the other thing that goes with this is the need to understand a fair amount of detail in some cases about the underlying data and where it's stored and how it's stored.